Faith is the beginning, the gentle stirring of our wings when we're encouraged by our need.
Hello there, and welcome to Canvas of Hope. We are here bringing hope and inspiration to folks who are facing difficult times. And today I have an amazing guest speaker with me. Elaine Gibson is the healthy lifestyle expert. She is the CEO of Renewed Living and the creator of the extraordinary Living Made Easy method. She is cited as one of the world's top 10 cancer survivors by Extreme Health Radio, having beaten stage 4 cancer without any traditional protocols. Elaine shares her hard-won lessons for living an extraordinary life. And I am so excited to have Elaine Gibson here with me this afternoon. So thank you so much, Elaine. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. And Linda, thank you so much for doing this. Oh, I love what you're doing.
I love it too. And I love where we can blend some of the traditional things and knowing that the not sort of traditional things by living a healthier, more conscious life can actually help to healing and full recovery. And you certainly know this firsthand with your experience with stage 4 cancer. Can you talk to us a little bit about that challenge and what you did and how did you overcome it?
Sure, I always get a little verklempt when we talk about this. Again, well, thank you again. So in 2001, I had a very early diagnosis of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Of course, it was a left field, so we're never prepared for it. It certainly changed my life forever. And I just knew that traditional protocols wasn't for me. At that time, I was a green technology specialist, so I was, into technologies that took care of the environment and stuff. So I was kind of like on a cusp of doing some other stuff. So I went down a non-traditional route, and in 6 months I was clean. So that was great. Yay! And a year and a half after my 5 months, my 5 years, I began to feel like these things in my body. And one thing led to another, and I was very, very assertive, trying to get to the bottom of it. I thought I had a parasite. My husband Nevin and I had just come home from the Galapagos Islands. This was January 2008. And one thing led to another, and the day before we were going on our first vacation in 3 years, get a call from my oncologist, and it was like, So I ended up, now again, this was a year and a half after 5 years. This is like really important. Stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Called the airlines, took me 5.5 hours to convince them I was not lying. And a day later, on Valentine's Day, I headed to Mexico for a treatment that I felt like I could trust. The place is not there anymore, but it was all, they weren't doing things that in the States that they're doing now. So
what were some of the treatments?
Yeah, so I did something called low dose chemotherapy. I'm not 100% sure I would do it today, but nobody thought I was going to live except me. I was probably the only person on this earth that really expected me to recover and live. It just never occurred to me. So it was all kinds of things. We had, I did low dose chemotherapy. I changed my diet a little. I did ozone insufflation, which is very pretty. It's not attractive. Oxygen therapies and IVs, and just lots of things like that. Far infrared, hyperbaric chambers, everything that could get oxygen into my body. Mm-hmm. Because as I learned,
cancer can't live in an oxygen.
Exactly. And I came home from Mexico, and I had no idea. I had no idea what was going on. It just, my brain didn't compute it. And I guess I'm really lucky that I didn't. So I literally came home and I fell to my knees when I got my diagnosis. And I said, okay, God, I know I'm not going to die. This is not what you have planned for my children. Just tell me what you want me to learn. And that's how I went after my journey. Don't ask me how, it's very alien to me, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe that was always, searching and trying to figure things out. I'm a choreographer. I've got a graduate degree in dance, and I'm a choreographer. So I always see the end result. I never see what goes in it. I always see the end result in full production. And then I kind of reverse engineer it and put it together. So I saw myself healthy. I never saw myself sick. So I went after.
Really
Yeah.
a lesson, if we were just to take a look, you always see yourself healthy, and you see yourself at the end result, the vision of health. And, how can what your experience relate to where many of us are today facing the challenges of COVID-19, and, what are some of the lessons that you might have learned from that our viewers can maybe relate to and bring into their lives?
What a great question.
Mm-hmm.
So you talked about cancer can't live in oxygen. So we discovered that from Dr. Otto Warburg. We all learned that from him. So once I understood, and I'm getting to the answer to that question specifically, once I understood the bigger picture and the foundation in a very small, concise bit that I could understand, I was no longer confused. We live in a state of confusion right now. We are in decision fatigue. However, we have to get to that place where it's so crystal clear. So once I understood that cancer cannot survive in the presence of oxygen, it changed everything. So I asked myself every day, and Linda, I still do it. When I'm in a crisis or I have to make a decision on how to support myself so I can function, it's always, how do I get oxygen and alkalinity in my body now? How do I get it in my body today? So one of the most key things that I learned that is transferable to everybody is ask good questions. And don't come at it from, oh man, there's so much going on, I can't figure out. Somebody knows the answer. So for me, it's kind of like, it's not how, it's who. You and I were talking before about what we do when we put our businesses together and our team and all that. I don't know how to do a lot of the stuff that you and I need to know, how to put a business together. You're putting the summit on, but you know who knows the answer.
Yes.
So then I can stay in my lane. So it's, how do I get oxygen and alkalinity in my body today? That's the most important question. So I figured it out. I mean, you and I were sitting here and I just finished my green juice, and I've got I had this water sitting right here, and all of that's part of my life. So now I am a raw food educator. I'm a green juice therapist. I'm a raw food chef. I'm a very plant-based, and I've taken everything that I learned and everything that I do morning, noon, and night. How can I get oxygen? How can I get oxygen? So everything I do is in the presence of plant-based and negative charges from the earth. We are designed to flourish in nature.
Absolutely. And I understand that. As you know, I'm a health educator through the Hippocrates Health Institute. And
right? That's how you and I met.
And I've studied with Cherie Soria, who is the raw food living mother of raw food, gourmet raw food chef. So I went through all that training. And those basic principles are so important. It's like what we need in our lives every single day, no matter what. We need it even more now, more than ever. So we are in a crisis type situation, and it is going back to the basics. It's getting enough sleep. It's getting enough oxygen. It's getting enough sunshine, and it's properly. All too often when fear kicks in, that, fear and flight, and causes you to then perhaps not make those good decisions like you were. It's like knowing what you need to do in order to be healthy no matter what. If you're healthy in mind and body, you can face anything. It sounds like there's a sense of resiliency, almost seems like it's, you know,
That's the word.
yeah.
That's the word. Resilient, relentless, absolutely. And you know, that's how you and I met. And I'm trained in that thread of Anne Wigmore and Hippocrates. That's where my training comes in. And Lynn, it's so easy to do.
Yes.
I'll tell you, being confined and being here, you know, my husband Evan and I just moved. I'm a city girl. I mean, I grew up in New York City, and now I'm living in the Shenandoah Valley, which is like, oh my God, it's amazing. So the vibration is different. I'd much rather eat like that than than clean a roasting pan. You know, it's like it, but it's very concise information. It's that question. So I mean, those people that are home and everything's, you know, the world is changing. Our world is changing. I believe, and I hope and I pray that we emerge better in a simpler life, in, you know, and everything that we read, everything that we do, and quite honestly, there's not enough conversation about it. Our diet, we have to stay hydrated, we have to exercise, all the things that we should be doing anyway, that in our very busy lives, we don't take care of ourselves.
Very true.
And now, this is the perfect time, and I mean, you didn't plan this to come out at this time, but this is a perfect time for people to take hold of their health and figure the things out. And that's really my expertise. That's where I specialize. Just make it really simple. That's why my method that I created is Extraordinary Living Made Easy. Take everything that I do, morning, noon, and night, put a ribbon around it, and let's go and learn it, you know?
Wonderful. Well, you've really provided us with some insights and inspiration. Before our call, we talked a little bit about the book.
I love it. Oh, yay. I love it.
As you know, I'm been nominated to raise money for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, and the book is a vehicle for which we're doing that. I've discussed this with the LLS folks and my team and talked about us. We're also going to donate a portion of the funds to COVID-19 relief funds. So I'm really excited.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes. And so the book
Just got the chills.
Thank you. Well, we're just trying to do good in the world. And if we can,
I know.
our gifts out in the world, we can shine a light in a dark space, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what you are. You're shining light to
Thank you.
and live a healthy life no matter what challenges, stage 4 cancer, all that. I mean, you're just an example of that. So thank you.
I love the book. I love that you're doing this in this campaign, and I'm so honored to help you with this, because it's, you know, that's what I had, stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So I'm in. I'm all in on this.
You're all in on this. So we are doing this together.
We are.
I gave you a list from the 38 words, and you chose abundance. Can you share a little bit about how did that abundance speak to you, and what does it mean, and what can you share in terms of inspiration for those who are watching us?
Well, you know, I looked at those words and there was no doubt in my mind. There was not even, there was no competition. Abundance, I believe in an abundance mentality. I believe that we so often, when we look to make ourselves our healthiest, which by the way, the world suffers when we're not at our best, because when we're not at our best, our work isn't getting done. Someone on the other end of the globe is waiting for us to do what we do. And if we're inflamed and we're exhausted and we're not at our best, so that's where I come from, my legacy and all that. But I believe in abundance mentality. People say to me, you know, a lot of times just living healthy, the weight comes off and all of that, and people feel that they have to give things up. And we experience a lot of feelings of deprivation. And that's so alien to where I want the world to be, that I believe in an abundance mindset. You know, I mean, I study I do as much studying and work as I can. But when we're in a place of abundance, we're asking good questions. We're believing that things are better. And we can thrive we can feel like we're thriving rather than depriving ourselves. And that's where it comes from. We have to have, and my whole mission and my whole vision is to help people get to that place where inside them, I call it finding your extraordinary soul. That's where the magic, that's where the abundance and that feeling of magic comes from. And having an abundance mindset, we ask different questions and we make different choices.
We certainly do.
About bringing things into our lives that naturally evolve to letting go of the things that don't serve us.
Wonderful.
And that's to me what abundance is, that mentality.
That was really beautifully said. And if
Thank you.
Take a moment and show you the art. As you know, the art in the book was done by a majority of students between the ages of 5 to 17-year-olds. It's a book not just for children, though. It's a book for all. So I want to share with you this picture that was done by a 13-year-old.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's what I want life to look like. Look at that. That's like where I live, in the mountains, out in the world of nature.
And you chose this word without seeing the artwork.
I did. I know. But isn't that what abundance looks like?
It is. It's about abundance. And there's a tree and it has fruit on it. And there are birds and
there's life. It's all about life. It's a living picture.
Yes. And it says here, abundance is a lot of something. It can be a lot of people in your life with a lot of love.
Oh.
This is Ethan, 18-year-old. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, yes. That's what it's all about. Yay. Go, Ethan.
Ethan, and you should read, the other pieces of art and what has to be said. And then over here is room for journaling. Journaling is such a strong way of getting in touch with what is abundant about your life and focusing in on the full picture and the learnings and what we could do to live an extraordinary life, right? So absolutely. Well, I just wanted to wrap up and say, I think you have an offer for our viewers, and I'd also like for you to share how people can find you. So if you can take a moment and just share those couple things.
Great. That's wonderful. Thank you. So we can be found at renewedlivinginc.com, renewedlivinginc.com. And if you are a fabulous woman watching this, we have an incredible tribe, an incredible movement in Facebook. It's called The Extraordinary Sisterhood. And the vision is to have 10,000 women collectively creating extraordinary lifestyles that lead to legacy through love. So that's that. So we have a gift. There's 3 books that we have for you that we put together here because, listen, I'm the Jewish grandmother. If I can give you 1, why not 3? So it's like 3 gifts are better than 1. So we know you'll enjoy them. They're all to support you in your lifestyle so that you can be your best, to do your best, and have a greater impact in the world, just like you do, Linda.
Oh, thank you so much, Elaine. It's been a pleasure talking with you today. Just as a wrap up, The Canvas of Hope is a book and a website. You can go to canvasofhope.org, .org, not .com, so it's .org, and you can purchase your copy of your book. And we have an amazing poem that you can purchase. Poster, and the book and the poem are all about taking you on a journey of who we are, what we do, and who we become. And that's the segue of how the book takes you through. And it's a beautiful poster that will be 18 by 24 inches with work lining
around the page.
Around it will be a poster size. So we'll have that, and we have this amazing summit. I just want to thank everyone, and thank you in particular today, Elaine, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
A canvas made of hope.